Hey guys, how you doing? Alright, let's do it. Let's do this to it. Okay, we're doing a Fabi versus Nika Vitugov. And it was a really interesting one I went over. It's the Queen's Pawn. And it's the A on the ELO rating thing. It's A45. So I was looking at it to make sure that it was what we needed to look at. I think it's the Tromposky or the Indian defense. I'm gonna have to see. Let's take a look because I went through it. It's okay. It's the Indian slash Tromposky attack, which is like what we said, very similar to the London, but only with excuse me, only with the bishop on G5 instead of F4. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Oops. Oh, snap. Sorry about that, guys. I almost forgot to pull up my Twitch. So into getting the game ready, I forgot about that. Just give me 1 sec. Because I know you guys are interested in the game that we're going to be doing, so it's going to be fun. So let's take a looky. I'll get a pop out, and then we'll start into it. Alright. Now that we're there, good. Okay, we gotta do it. It's Fabi's. Fabi is black, so we'll take a look to see what how Fabi handles the Tromposky. Okay, H6, Bishop H4, and then he's now trying to undermine the structure with a side pawn. The center is what you want to gun for. You really don't want to do that because I think is it a good move? I just want to check. I'm not sure that. Okay, so that's a good move. So okay, so that's the principle. Boy, I was really concerned about that though. I guess okay, G5. Then if pawn takes, then you take here, and then that's still hanging, and there's no way to guard. Well, yeah, I guess there is queen. Then pawn. Okay, then pawn takes, and you want to you. All right, makes sense. A knight d7. He pushes onward, which I don't know if that's the best. Sorry about that, guys. 1 second, I need to drink water. Taking does look interesting, but I'm not sure because of bishop takes. I guess you have to play bishop. Bishop takes, pawn takes, and then queen. No, I think Fabi played correctly in that scenario. Okay, we have actually 3 moves that you can play. Queen A5, A6, and potentially bishop takes D5 is a move. R, I guess I missed one. This is also a move too. I missed one. There's actually 4. And Fabi saw the one that I forgot to put in there. Isn't that funny? Yeah. But you learn a lot because you have to. Otherwise, you won't improve. Hardest thing to do is to learn. A6. Excuse me. Bishop takes A6. I mean, not A6. Bishop takes C6. Sorry. Pawn takes C6. So C4 was played. A5. So now we're starting to go boom, boom, right up the board. Trying to make it so that this isn't, we'll probably try A4 next. That undermines this structure here so that if he ever pushes, we can takes. Trade, well, I guess it's not as you wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, this makes more sense because it's doing a discovery on the knight. And so you have to always remember that. Excuse me. I don't know why I got like a frog there. That's okay. Okay, bishop a6 is huge. That pins right on through. And so knight takes e6, pawn takes e6, and queen check is mainly going to be the move. King d7, d8, queen takes pawn, bishop e, and that covers. If they're there, you really can't. This actually solidifies your advantage right here. You'd have to play there, come down. Then you can also potentially come here, and more likely you're going to come there after takes. But you got to be careful because that's a point 2 as well of exit. So d4, c, knight takes. Can't believe he surrendered that. That actually won the game for Fabi because now he's got a passer connected. This one isn't connected because this is stopped. But if you think about it, it is one chain, but it's not able to be protected. That's maybe what I should say. a7, rook a7, a to c1, rook d7, e6. That tries to lock the queen down and attack the rook. Remember, we're holding. That's our whole goal. Next, more likely potential will be here. It's got to keep an eye on the h5 pawn. So bishop takes, pawn takes. Oh wow! So he is going for it. If he plays there. Oops, my bad. He can't play there. I got to get rid of that. That's why he can do this now. I knew there was a reason why my instinct told me to do that. Queen g6, knight c7, potentially going to d6, and maybe into b5 after the knight moves. d6, bishop takes, rook takes, c takes, d takes, rook takes d4, king c8. And then you want to keep an eye on this. Fabi's up a whole piece, but his opponent has 2 pawns for the piece, but they're not that good at pawns. Excuse me. They're not that good at pawns. And also potentially a threat is there and there, so you're going to win something. So the rook comes back. King b7. If the rook comes down here, the king just comes up, and queen protects it. The pawn stopped. Rook's there. Next is queen check. Sorry about that, guys. Man, it's really interesting. Okay, all right. So he's trying to. That does make sense if you want to think about it. Takes. This actually does take scope on that. So, and potentially you probably would have to play queen there. Queen takes. I think it's still winning because of the queening square. I think we still can actually pull it out if we bring our bishop there and we get our king involved in here. So And if the opponent resigned, because I don't think there's really any way, there's no more checks. He blocked the checks. If he checked here, the pawn would take. So if he checked here, pawn takes, and there's no real way of saving the game. So I will leave a puzzle with you and I'll be right back. And we'll get on to our puzzles. Well, let me try pulling up Twitch one more time and see if I can't get. It may be that it's glitching a little bit with the Twitch chat thing. So hold on. Let me try it one more time. Let's see if there's something going on with Twitch. Let's see. Oh, what the heck? Stop. What? I can't believe that. Let me just. I'll finish this and then we'll get on to it. I'll check it again after, just give it a second to refresh, because I want to hear from you guys and make sure that you guys are doing good. So if takes here, we take there, and we always have that with a push there, so interesting for sure. I'm thinking either after he takes here. I'm thinking, should I take there? Okay, the bishop is okay. If he takes, I'll take there. Interesting. Very sneaky. He's gonna win that. It's kind of like I can't help if I play there. He just gotta play there, and I was gonna lose it with a fork. So it's kind of like, what you gonna do, you know? I could always play here at that point too. Double up and aim there. Actually, I could right away, even after takes here, play there. Then he takes here, I play there. Oh, I can't really play there yet. Now I'm threatening that. Hey, how you doing? Ooh, knight g5 is good too. That works. I like knight g5. Yeah, true. I did miss that, but you know what? We did find it though, so I'll have to go over that when we study this game here. Okay, good. Okay, man. For some reason, my Twitch account wouldn't show anybody on, so I kind of just thought about just doing one of these, then going back to our puzzles to see if it refreshed, and of course it did refresh, so that's nice. Let's see here. I'm gonna lose this pawn here. I hate doing that. Just gotta stay ahead of the clock on the guy though. Oh, I gotta be careful there. Kinda gotta hold this position here for just a little bit. We should at least, if anything, get a oh whoa. What in the world? Oh. So he's playing that way. Let's grab that pawn. Because his plan is to actually to play here and to fork my there we go. Yeah, that's not fun. So I'm gonna have to drop a knight right there, kind of to hold this for right now. Yikes. Yikesies, I don't like that. Hey. I don't like winning that way, but let's go over this game because I know there is a winning somewhere in here. Then we'll, if Fox, if you have any games or anything you want to go over. It was really weird for a while, guys. I know this sounds funny, but it didn't show any of this. That was kind of strange. So Let's go and back through here and see what we can. Come on. Oh, so, there we go. Let's see, where did I go wrong here? Let's see, 3. Okay, there. That's correct. Knight's correct so far. Okay, so to equal knight there. H. So. Oh, I should have played here. Okay. But what if he plays H6? Oh, you take. Pawn takes. Okay, so then you push. And let's say, oh, you can't take there. Let's say he takes there. Then you retreat back. Interesting, huh? Oh, because you're holding a grip on that pin. Because there's no piece, there's no bishop here to hold that. Wow. And then you go queen up. Huh. And if he plays bishop there, oh, you castle queen side, and now the rook's on the queen, so the queen has to move. The knight comes, and if knight takes, queen, you don't really want to take with the pawn, so you would take with the queen. And this kind of gets the pawns rolling on the other side of the board. This is actually really strong. E4 is strong. Because if you notice, it locks the dark square bishop, the pawn, so that this dark square bishop has no play. So that's interesting. So that might have been better. Okay, so that's okay. So I have to remember, even if he takes here, I just want to see what would happen if he. Oh, he can't take there. My bad. What was I thinking? What happens if he pushes though? Okay. Oh, you jam a knight there. Okay. Miscalculation there. So okay. So if he moves his knight there, remember to play h2, bishop h2, pawn takes, c takes, d. So now our pawns are facing towards the queen side, so we'd have to think about more queen side play. Usually where your pawns are facing is where you're going to have more space, and so that's where you play. Okay, so that takes, knight takes. So taking here, bishop takes. Okay, knight guards these 2 points. Okay. Huh. I believe that's probably best, if I'm not mistaken, in this scenario. Oh, bishop. It likes the bishop move. So that was an inaccurate move. Okay, so bishop, huh? So that kind of neutralizes a little bit of his threat. It goes bishop c4, that takes, so he has to move his rook. Because if he takes, let's say he takes here, knight has to come back to guard there. Okay, there comes the knight. Queen comes. rook slide. Okay, everything's iron, and then if bishop, the bishop may have to come, and then okay, bishop takes. Okay, he can't take back because alright, I see that. So that bishop move is a error on his part. Just remember they might play that. So just remember you have this here, so you can actually win it. Don't feel afraid to not take it. Okay, takes. Knight takes. Ooh, sweet. So the king comes up. Oh, interesting. Wow, nice. It's using a pin. You gotta love it. Oh. Oh, there's a pin there. Okay, so you gotta be careful here. The queen comes there. Knight comes in. Wow, the knights are dancing all over the board. You gotta love the dance of the knights for sure. Now the knights have to move. The knight has to move, so he's gonna more likely move back here because he doesn't want this knight to, the rook to land there. Knight takes, bishop takes. Wow, check. Okay, king was over. Oh, nice. That was a sweet tactic. And it wins a pawn. Let's see that again. From there, we take here. Queen takes, there. Queen takes knight, sets up for a fork. Queen takes, and then knight f7, king g8, and then knight takes. Wow, that's sweet. That's sweet. Okay, I gotta remember that. Kinda got a little crazy on that. I was afraid of that, so you'd have to come back there. Knight takes. If knight takes, pawn takes. Because you really don't want to take here at this moment, because if you, let's go back, I'll show you. If you did take here, the rook would slide over and start gobbling your pawns. You can do that, but then he comes and you'd have to retreat. Oops, not there. You'd have to retreat right here. And you're down a whole rook, so that was kind of interesting why he didn't just take here. He took there, so I took, and oh, it wants me to take here. Why is that? Because it isn't there. Oh, I see. Because then I can actually take. I could take here, okay, and then if he takes there, then okay, I take here. If he comes back, king up guards that pawn. Huh. Because if he takes here, he loses the queen. So it's not going to do that. Okay. Should have taken here at that point. Okay. And if queen checks, nah, king moves up. If knight moves over, okay, you then can actually pin the knight. And then if the rook slides over there, I mean, you might even have that at this point. Oh, it likes that move. Okay. Attacks the queen, so then if that comes in there, now now you're attacking there, so a check. Wow, this is kind of getting scary. I don't know if I like this move. Here. Oops, wrong move. Get the B out of there. Wow, this is kind of a little scary push. I don't really like that. Well, not at all. I like that move there. Queen takes. I think at this point, Fox, the idea of rook e1 is correct on that. I like that, but I thought, you know what? Why not just snap back my pawn? He took there. I took another pawn. This is more solid. It controls this here. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to. I forgot that I could actually play here after he plays there. There's a potential that takes there. Rook takes. And these two pawns are about to fall. So first you can take there to get out of this pin. Any tactical idea there. And if a rook slides over, you potentially have a passer here. So I don't know if you want to risk taking that. This kind of solidifies your push to get going. Actually, probably there, because that's why you bring your queen there to begin with, is to get ready for that, and then up it goes, up your soldier goes up the board to become general. So he takes there. I was worried about this. Why does I was concerned that somehow he could put. Oh, well, he can't really get my knight off the X, can he? Interesting. That also has more tactical stuff behind it too. Also, I have that. Okay. Or potentially here and there. I mean, not with the bishop. I mean, sorry. I don't know, I'd move my rook somewhere, maybe here, over there. Yeah, but it's a point two less, so I just thought, you know what, why give any chance for that to happen? But he does have a 3 versus 1, so I probably should after that play rook e2 or rook f7 when this knight moves. So I did play right there. Okay. Snap, I should have moved here. That's actually stronger. Because if there. Okay. Knight takes, knight takes. What happens? Oh, knight c. Okay. Okay, knight c4. Oh, rook c8. I think they're thinking of something like Well, you really, at this point, you don't really have to worry because your rook protects. I was a little concerned about that, but I have to remember that this is under fire as well. So if that takes, you actually potentially, yeah, in between. Intermezzo takes, and if you try something like that, you just bring your knight up and you're winning now because even though it's 2 versus 1, you have 3 versus 1 over here, and you can neutralize these 2 pawns with this knight. So, and bishops can't go on different colors. So, I don't think my move was bad, it just wasn't the best. That wasn't the best. Yeah, jam a knight so there's no infiltration points there. Okay. So I was actually winning at the very end, so that was a good game. That makes sense why his knight has to move, though. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, snap off another pawn. Dang, man, his knight is trapped. Huh. Yeah, I think it's losing at this point. Yeah, it's losing at this point for him. Okay, we'll work on some puzzles. Okay. We have a discovery here on the king. So how should we use it? There really isn't any good way to use it. Oh. Alright, we'll take a look. Jackman versus Alex. Ooh, Alekhine, you gotta love that. Oh, hell, I'll input it into my my game because I could always pull that up. All right. So Aliakin. There. This black. So this should be. Oops! Turn off the engine. I don't want the engine. Huh. Oh, the rat defense. I believe, I think it was Nazi actually played the rat in one of her games in the U.S. Championship. It was interesting. Yazzer talks about the rat defense. Kind of odd. It resembles very similar to the French. Yeah, but isn't it interesting though that it may be a French defense, but it has a different name. The rat defense, small center defense. That's funny. What are they gonna? That is funny. And so now you got 3. Usually you put a bishop here for a reason, guys, so that if there's like a bishop here after you takes, and queen takes, this bishop that's here could actually do an undiscovered attack on the queen with a check. That's why you sometimes put a bishop on d7, just to blunt this check later on. King h1, f takes. Nice. You got it. You have to love that. This is smooth French defense. Now at the right time, he uses his other break. There's 2 breaks in the French, c5 and f6. d3, bishop d3, f takes g5, f takes e5, not g5, e5, f takes e5, and now we got a beautiful potential discovery somewhere along here. We can get this bishop moving off this diagonal. So what is a move after bishop c5? After bishop c5, let's see, bishop c5, bishop c5. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, b4. It is interesting, isn't it? Let's see, I have no idea what the response is. Okay, interesting. So queen takes. Can't believe I didn't see that. That's a simple response. I was looking for some sort of, like other move type of thing, but that's just so simple of a response, just takes. And then if knight takes, bishop takes, and this rook's attack, so I really can't take at that point. Yeah, I think that's just the best. Yeah. There's no other move to save it. Well, potentially there is that, but I think he could just retreat back there. And I think you're still fine at that point. And you just come up ahead after that. So we'll get back to that. If you guys have any other questions about the games, the game on here, moves, whatever, just tell me. And if you want to go back, over something, if you say you're going too fast, we'll go back and we'll talk it over. Okay. That's the whole thing. I'm going to try to not go too fast, because learning is slow processes. So, no, that's a nice move. It's a move I'd play. Alekhine's going for the crunch. If he takes here, you take there, the knight moves, and you have a rook there with potential winning after. I think he takes. Okay, h4, rook f2, king h1, and then bishop e7, e8. That stops the knight from coming in here. If the knight does with check, bishop takes, and b5 should be the move that's played. If knight takes bishop, pawn takes, rook takes. I still think Alekhine survives up a whole pawn if he plays here. Then he actually takes. Now he's up 3 pawns to 1. So I don't think there's any way to hold at this point. Yeah, that's a beautiful move. This move here. That is totally beautiful. It dominates everything. It's like a rook on e8 is in this scenario is like sweet. There we go. Now he's kicking the last knight out of the fight. And even if he plays here, we have knight takes. If he plays here, we have knight takes. If he plays back here, we bring our knight there, and we're attacking these 2 points. So this knight is a super knight. Now the king comes up, guards the knight. So if the bishop ever moves, this knight also guards there too. So it's like, whoa. That knight is a very powerful knight. If you notice, guys, all of White's pieces are neutralized. They have like no scope to go to. This knight's offside, doing completely nothing. This bishop is basically the only thing that's holding his structure together at all from the king infiltrating in. And this rook is basically babysitting this bishop on e4. So everything, all of his pieces, all of White's pieces, are Richmond's pieces, or Richard's pieces, are all passive. And Alekhine's pieces are very devastating, to say the least. So king g1 to attack. Now he's going after a pawn. He says, hey, I provoked this right here. I provoked this weakness, and now why not go after another one? Exactly. Actually, I agree with you on the calculation. Alekhine, though, has remembered so many patterns that calculation is not even on his menu. He has so many positions. He's looked at so many games that this king move here reminded him of some sort of game he went over maybe 10 years ago. And he knew exactly because of the game that the best move in that game that gave black an advantage was rook to b2. So it triggered a picture in his mind of where the rook needs to go to in b2. Because at a point, super grandmasters actually stop calculating and they go to more pattern recognition. And Jeremy Silman talks about that. There's something called chunking. I know that sounds like what? What did you just say, chunking? That's gross. No, you take a lot of combinations, you just put them together, and you make a block of ideas like that, and it becomes a big tactic. Like when Alekhine looked at this position and he had all of his pieces set up, it was a chunk of a couple different ideas that he put together, and that's how he made his decisions. And you want to actually take bigger things, make them smaller. You want to take, like on the Jetsons, when George Jetson got his breakfast, it was a cube, and he ate it, and it was all of his eggs, milk, cereal, bread, everything in a cube. That's kind of how you want to synthesize down your chess patterns so that you can make them smaller and then you can get more cubes in your mind. I know that sounds like, whoa, that's kind of like, is he okay there? But that's actually how they improve. They go from complication to, it's funny, they take a bunch of complicated problems, put them in a thing and shrink it down. And that's how you can get better doing it that way. And most of us have gone here? But he understands that he needs to retreat back, so let's see here. And I'm still even working on learning the chunking method. It's pretty intense. You have to take a lot of ideas like and break them down into smaller things. Let me see here. Nice, there we go. Now we have our first. The knight's gone. So now the king could enter without any problems. This pawn's safe. 1 second. Excuse me. This pawn here is safe. That pawn's gonna fall if he takes this. So g3 is played. And now if he takes, we have bishop f5, and everything is neutralized again for white. So it's like, whoa. There's really nothing that his opponent can do. g3, check, pawn takes, now check, and another pawn's gonna actually fall pretty soon. So he's gonna have to become passive there, and then the bishop's going to come and attack. So f3. And now you could attack this bishop. It's almost trapped. Almost. It would only have, if we get a rook here, it would only have that to go to and that to go to. So I don't think his opponent wanted to get any more pummeled into submission. That hurts really bad when you get like a smacking like that. That's not fun. Queen c3. Queen c3. Queen c3. Where's Queen c3? Where do I have that? Oh. Okay, Queen c... Oh, King c2. Let's see, King c3. Let's see, where's King c3? King c3. Yeah, I'm trying to find King... Where's King c3? King c3. King c. Oh, I don't see King c3. What am I missing here? I don't see King c3. Where am I? What am I missing here? Oh, right now? Oh, I gotcha. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. That was an excellent game. That I gotta say, guys, you just witnessed how basically how a player can neutralize three pieces: a knight, a rook, and a bishop. That was impressive. Alekhine is an impressive player. He wasn't a natural, but he understood one thing. He knew how to take a big concept and put it into a small concept, and he was able to outwork his opponents. So that was kind of what he knew, and he did the best. He outworked everyone. Okay, so alrighty. Let's pull up another board. Because we might have somebody ask if they're on the prior game, and I want to be able to have that game readily available for you guys. So Alekhine again is black on the black side of the board. Okay. French defense. He went for the classical, the burn variation. Yeah, this is the classical variation. So, does the burn line. You still have the classic variation after this. That's the classic. So he went for the burn, which is actually taking the pawn and knight takes. There's bishop e7 is actually the main line. Then bishop takes, and if knight takes, queen takes. And you're kind of simplifying down real quickly. Black has a better chance of castling. White kind of wants to hold on to everything. So it's pretty impressive. Why knight c5? Why knight c5? Knight c5. If knight takes c5, well, okay, it's a check. Queen check. Okay, I kind of missed that. Then if he intercepts here, you just snap that off. Okay. Very interesting for sure. Okay. Didn't want to see any of that, so he just took the bishop with the knight. But that actually helped Alekhine out, so. Castles. Takes. Oops, I gotta turn off the edge of. And now this bishop does a good part in the deal. The queen can now come back, and the pawn is being protected. So Alekhine would be up a whole pawn in that scenario. F6, bishop checks, king goes up, queen comes to c1, getting ready for the rook. b6. Now this bishop is free to roam. Rook b4. That was a mistake. This is actually the only move that makes practical sense, because then if takes there, you take here, and if he comes out, which he actually can't come out, more likely you'd have to take with the queen, then you take with the rook, and you're good. Well, queen a3. That is interesting. I don't know. Yeah, b6 is prophylactic. That's a sweet pin. If he tries something like that, you could always just snap that off and play against white's weaknesses. Exactly. That was one thing I was wondering why he didn't take. That just gives you this stops that, and you're up a whole piece at that point, plus a pawn. So, and I know Alekhine didn't want to deal with any of that, so. That makes practical sense as well, but not as much as rook d8 would actually be a good move. F d8, sorry, because there's two rooks. Now he can actually castle by hand. I can't believe he didn't play either this here or that. Those two are actually winning moves. I think he was afraid of that there. But there's really no threat. I guess he could just move the rook. Huh. Wow, White's actually doing good here. If he would have... oh, he did play correctly. Snap. White should have won here. That's kind of hard though to see this over the board. I'm just like, some of this stuff isn't like computer moves, but that is cool though. That is cool. A5. He missed the combo though. Yaz should have played. He should have taken his time and seen this move here first, and then played that later. That tells you take your time. Make sure that could be played. That could have been played anytime. You have to set up properly. He had a 5.6 pawn advantage that he lost like all of it with one silly move. Surprisingly, this actually is winning, or at least a draw for White. Impressively, wow. Wow. If you guys wondered why he put his rook there, that's why. Same idea. If he plays here, that's gone. Now he attacks, and potentially queen a6 is actually... Oh, he did play queen a6. Sweet. Rook comes back to guard, and Alekhines actually has got 2 pawns. He's 2 pawns ahead of his opponent. So he's a pawn ahead, and if you want to do point count. He probably would have went for a draw. That gentleman should have actually just gone for a draw here. Yaz. This is incredible endgame play. Now comes the Armada. Wow, look at this. Your line, it's like the whole line is coming after too. King was up. Oh man. What's white doing? Everything's fortified. Potentially mate's almost on the board. Mate's almost on the board, guys. If he can get king here, that's checkmate. Wow. Wow. That's amazing of a game. Wow. Because he's actually threatening mate in one. There's really... if he plays his queen back here, he has to give his queen up. Because otherwise it's checkmate. There's nothing else he can do. That's taken, that's taken, that's taken, that's taken, that's taken. What happens after what? Yep. Actually, it's a knight mate. Yeah, I would take some time to see what piece I'd calc. That's the only way to win. Isn't that that's like whoa. We just got to step back for a second and just savor the beauty, guys, of that game. That's a beautiful game. Well played endgame. I think Capablanca would have been honored to have been the one playing black in that scenario. So, but man, it's gonna. I can't wait, guys, till the World Championship. It's gonna be cool. So, I'm excited about that. Also, the Norway Open's coming coming pretty soon as well. So, I think it's on the 28th, if I'm not mistaken. That Magnus and Fabiano will be playing in it. So it should be very good. I hope it turns out to something like this. Boy, you know what? Magnus and Fabi can leave a legacy of games like Alekhine did here for our generation. Think of what they can leave for the next generation with the amount of attack power and pattern recognition those two have. It's going to be a really fun game, really fun championship. So, wow, well, that is the literal shock and awe. You gotta love it. You gotta love that. You don't get a masterpiece every day like that, guys. That's a masterpiece in the makings right there. Okay, yes, there. Thank you for the 2 games. Those were excellent games, Fox. It showed the power of neutralization in the first one, how to neutralize your opponent's pieces, and then in the last one, it showed the power of end game understanding. So, if you could take away from those 2 games, learn how to make your opponent's pieces basically guarding each other or reacting to you. And number 2, the second game, learn your end game for sure. Let's see here. Wait, I'm trying to figure out. We have a pin. I mean, a discovery check. Discover check. Just trying to figure out how we can use it for our benefit of stuff. I'm kind of thinking that potentially it might be bishop e8. I know that sounds like, what? You're giving up a discovery, but if we can get our bishop here, bishop f8 looks really an interesting idea for sure. So f5, rook a I think that I agree with you on that. Huh. Well, if he goes rook a2, if he goes, okay, if we go here, rook a2, snap, come on, here, rook a2, I think, don't we have a discovery at that point? Discovery. You actually, you block with a discovery, and you win the rook on a6. So if we go there, he comes here, we check. F4 check. See, if he takes here, we have that, and we can actually trade off our so I'm wondering if it's not bishop. Well, if we trade the bishop off for these two, I see what you're saying. I think it has something to do with that. Then we have a potential discovery, but I'm not sure. I don't know if that's it or not. I'm thinking maybe we just play it simple and we just play here. If it comes up there. We could actually just play rook. I'm thinking bishop, like what you're saying, horse, is the correct move, because that allows for a discovery on the rook once we move it. The only problem with that move, Fox, is if we check here, he can actually come there, and this rook actually serves a purpose for discovery here. And also, if we play here and he takes, we can I guess, no, I don't know if, well, let's see here. If he checks there, we'd probably just move our king at that point. that if he pushes, we check here. If he takes, we can actually bring our rook back with check and discover check, and we win this rook. Nice. I really thought, okay, so here, what happens if we play here? My idea doesn't work because of this, because of where this is. There we go, that's my idea right there. Boom. We'll try one more and then I got a log. That was a really interesting one. Drat. So what do you think about knight e4? Bishop takes d2? Oops. Oh, bishop takes d. I don't. Oh, we want bishop takes d2. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Let's see here. I just want to check. Those C right there. If he moves, sorry, hold on. If he moves up, then we protect. Remember, this is still under fire. So wait, twice. He actually could protect 3 times. And now we attack here, and we should win a piece. There we go. We'll try one more to get us to 24. We'll give it one. We'll do one more, and that's it. Because I want to try to get us to 24 before I log off. And even whatever happens on this one, it's not. Don't worry. We'll get it back. So, but we're gonna do our best to win. Well, this is a cincher. Queen that's here goes there, forking the king and the knight. What do you think? Okay, we'll check that. We'll check that line out. So I write that all so I don't forget all. Hold on, let me write that down. Check line for Fox. Okay. I gotcha. Now I got it. I won't forget. There we go. What do you think? I believe it's taking. Takes. Rook takes. Queen comes up. Attacking the rook. That's there. And the rook can't be defended but by the knight. And if the knight moves back, if the knight moves back here, we just we take the knight. So we win a piece in this scenario. Bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes. Oops. Bishop takes, rook takes, queen comes up attacking this rook that's here, and when the rook moves back we drop our queen in right there. The queen goes from here to here to here, and it forks the knight. This closes up our position for the attack. It's not that it's not a good move, it's just we don't have any more attack after that. We have to keep this open so that that can apply. What do you think, Fox? Bishop takes h7? I'm sure on that one, but I just want to make sure I'm not miscalculating anything. I believe that. I'm 100% sure on that, but I just want to make sure. Oh, so I'm missing something? Did I miss something? Okay, let's say he takes there. He moves here. Let's say we come up and attack here. So okay, so we're good on it. Let's give it a go. We'll just stop there. I can't believe it. We're like, they couldn't give us at least 4 points. But let's take a look at, we'll take a look at that one line you talked about. The knight moving here. And then we're going to go over, I promised we'd go over that one line in the prior one. First you check there, and then you move your rook up. Now you're safe. You're up a whole piece. If he goes here, you can actually just develop your knight, and you can always retreat out. Okay, so let's go back to the prior one that we I told you I was going to go over. So let's see, what's the line that you wanted to go over for this one? Okay. Oh, b4. Okay, b4. b4. Queen takes. And you got mate. Do you have any other ideas about for this one that we're on here, or the one we just did? Any other ideas on any of those, guys? Yeah, it's just like it's it looks like you can win a knight, but guess what? It's like luring. It's like saying, "Come on into my position," so that when you're in my position, I can take out your position. So it's welcoming. It's the principle of Aikido, welcoming them in. Come on in. Oh, I gotcha. That's what you're saying. You have the same idea again. I don't think you can. I think at this point you'd have to play there. And then now you just retreat back and guard that. And you're up a whole piece in this scenario. His structure is totally wrecked. And you can just play chess. Okay, F3. Yeah. And then you just retreat. You just retreat your knight back, and if he plays here, you can actually just push up. Oops, you can't push up. My bad. Oops, that's not right either. That's not what I want. Right there. You want that, and then after takes, and if queen here, you just move your king up, and everything's defended, and you're up a whole piece. But good, hey, good find on that. So, are you guys all good? Have I answered all of your questions on the puzzles? Alright, is everybody good? Any more questions? Okay. Alright. Guys, keep it up. We'll get to 2,400 tomorrow. Boy, 4 points, babe, but you know what? I'm willing to take the 3, so it's not a negative 22. So you gotta think of it positively like that. So remember, keep studying, keep moving forward. Only look back to learn, and always remember there's a plan in the position. Sometimes it may take you 5, 10, 15 minutes, but find it and you win the game. So remember that. And of course, when we get the puzzle right, we get to say this: I love it when a plan comes together. Well, guys, as Wesley So says, serve the Lord Jesus. As I say, God bless. I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. And have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening. And I'll be back on tomorrow, Lord willing. And keep doing good, guys. Bye bye.